All right, so I'm ready to go finally. I just had to get everything set up here. It's always a new challenge whenever I get going in this setup. So we are back. We are back at the desk. I am preparing for DragonCon, and so you get to kind of follow along with that preparation. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you don't know me, I'm Chris. This is Kersey Fabrications, and for the past several years, I've been working on building the most realistic Iron Man armor, particularly the software that runs that armor that anyone has built. And so what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to actually be going through the process of actually preparing the physical hardware that's going to be going into that armor. It's an NVIDIA Jetson platform. If you have seen the last stream, that was a Just-A-Jetson board. That was a pre-production board, and so tonight I actually have a production board that I've purchased. You can see it right here. I've got a sticker that came with it. I've got the board. I haven't even unwrapped it yet. And so we're going to see how this goes. I'm looking forward to testing this and getting it up and running. A lot of the stuff, particularly on setting up the board, I'm actually not going to do a lot of in-depth talking through. I'm going to just kind of work through it. I'll tell you what I'm doing, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it unless there are questions in the chat or something like that. So, anyway, that's what I'm doing, and I appreciate everyone joining me this evening. So, what I'm going to do is basically just get started here. Again, building the computer that's actually going to go into my Iron Man armor. For now, I have a trusty cup of coffee to get me going and to keep me going. Appreciate the like on the stream. Thanks. Fear God 101. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you very much. I get some more people in here. Again, trying to stream a little bit more, educate people on what I'm working on and what I'm doing. So I appreciate people tuning in. I actually may take 1 second here. Let people know that I'm streaming on a social or two. Maybe I can get that URL so that people know what's going on, and then we will get going. I'm just going to give people a little bit of time. We'll just chat for a second. Again, I'm not going to belabor this. I'm going to get right into it. But I do want to share that I am streaming this evening, get some more people in here. Obviously, live streams a lot more fun when you have people joining you. So again, I am just going in and make sure I get the right URL to share this. Share. Let's copy that. Do a quick post. But I will be taking questions in the chat as we go. I may be turning this into a standalone video at some point. Yes, I am doing the Iron Man HUD on Linux. Thanks for asking. All the software is already written, so you're going to get to see it all up and running as soon as I get everything installed. You can see the whole process. We'll see how far I get in the whole process. I'll definitely get the HUD up and running. I don't know if I'll have time to get the AI assistant up and running as well, because that takes quite a bit of time to build sometimes. So I can't promise all of that will get done, but we will get the HUD up and running. That shouldn't be any problems, unless we have some sort of weird, catastrophic hardware problem of some sort. So, okay. Go. Share it around some of these platforms. See us get going here. All right. So, first things first, let's talk about the hardware. I'm going to make sure I have my I've got my strap here to keep me from shorting anything out. I've got that handy. All right, let's get this. I got my desk camera here. I'm going to be going right here with this. This laptop's going to move eventually, but this is what I'm going to actually be doing everything on. So let's go ahead and get going. Trying to figure out, it looks like my stream. Okay, I see why it was doing that. There we go. Okay. Trying to make sure the stream is good. Hey, Fear God, since you're in the chat, let me know if everything sounds good. If the music and the voice mix is good, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know how that's looking for you. Just want to make sure. Because obviously I'm not listening to myself. Let's get this opened up. Alright, so again, this is a brand new board. They just shipped it to me. Looks good. Don't think I have... Yeah, I do have scissors here. Alright, so let's cut this right here. Alright, again, I do have my ground here, making sure that I'm not going to short anything out. Alright, so brand new ARK Just-A-Jetson board. Covered all of this board last time. If you've missed that stream, go check it out. I actually have an edited version on the channel. So I'm not actually going to waste all the time of going through this one. Going through all the different steps of this board. It's just, you can watch that one if you need to know what this board's got on it. So next thing I need to do though, I'm actually going to be disassembling my ARK reactor because I need the board out of this. If I'm going to build an armor, this isn't going to be, it's not what I'm doing anymore. So I'm going to actually pull this apart. I've got, set aside. All right, there's the ARK reactor. I'm going to pull out, these are the sound devices that I use. One of them has a microphone input. The other one I just use for output typically. So those are the two different sound devices I have to use for the armor. Then we're going to disassemble this and actually get the Jetson out of this. So I'll show you how to disassemble it. That pulls off the diffuser. All right, then we need to pull out the LED ring. If I can get under it with my fingernail. Because there's some wires underneath here that have to come out. All right, so we pull those out. Now that is disconnected. That's just the LED ring. All right, we tuck that in so that it doesn't get tangled up. And then this just unscrews. This is all 3D printed out of carbon fiber nylon. Because it's light and it's heat resistant compared to like PLA or something. All right, we're gonna pull that again. You can see that it's 3D printed. And there is my Jetson. You can see we attach to the board down here, go out to this. This is for the cameras. We probably won't be using those cameras this evening. We'll just be using the USB cameras just for testing. I'm not going to give everything away this evening. But what I need to do is I need to pull all of this out because I actually need a couple of things off of here. In fact, though, let me think about it. I might not actually have to do a complete teardown. I might just be able to get this off of here. Then I could leave it in here and save myself some time. Because what I really need is just the module, the Jetson itself. So maybe I'll save myself a little time. Let me go and pull these out. So these just have these little fingernail lifts that will unlock. Oh no, they come out. Okay. Always nervous with these things. You break one of these and you will regret it. And it looks like I actually already broke this one. so I need to be extra careful. All right, so I'll grab my blade here. Pull these well, maybe I don't need to pull that cam header off yet. Again, not doing everything this evening on the live stream, just some of it, just to get everything started. So let's just do that then. Let's see if I've got the right. That's just going to be a Phillips. So I think I can just. We'll pull the fan header off. There's a fan header over in this corner. We just pull that straight up. And then this has a couple of screws in the corner. I'm going to drop that down there. I don't think this is magnetic. That's great. All right. Not a problem. I do have some pliers here I can use to get those out. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll grab that screw. Set that aside. We're going to need it. We don't want to lose those. And we're going to grab this screw out. I'm going to be more careful not to drop it this time. All right, so now this, it's got a couple of catches here on the side. I should just be able to, yep, just pull that out right like that. All right, so this is my Jetson NX 16 gigabyte module. That's what it looks like on the back. I'm going to be replacing this heatsink, possibly with a passive heatsink and a larger fan at some point. But for tonight's activities, I think I'm just going to go with it as is for setup. Just one less thing I have to worry about. That may be all I need to do on this one for now. Unless I actually want to get to the Wi Fi adapter that's on the bottom of this one. I'm trying to decide if that's super important or if I'm just going to use the Wi Fi adapter that I already have in my other Jetson. So here's the one I did last time on the stream. This one's already set up. This one's running. There's no problems with this one. You can see it looks fine. Everything's good to go on this one. I have to use the hard drive on this one because the hard drive on this one doesn't fit. I could use, yeah, I think I can keep everything on this one. Leave this one as is. It actually leaves it in case I need it for anything. So we're just going to set that one aside. That's what we're going to do. Then I have one less thing to worry about. All right, so as far as this one's concerned, this is the one, like I said, built this on the last live stream. This is a standard Orin Nano 8 gigabyte. I'm not going to be taking that one off, but I do need the hard drive and the Wi-Fi adapter off of this one. Pretty simple. Let me see, does this one have screws on it? It doesn't come with it. I did notice a couple of screws in the pack. I don't know what those were for. Or if those were for those. Let's find out. Let's see if those fit in there. I don't think they do. I think those might be for the Orin itself. We'll just use what I have. Alright, so we're going to pull that out. That's the Wi-Fi adapter. We're going to pull the hard drive out. This is the SD card. NVMe. Alright. I'm going to pull that out. Okay. And now I think we're done with this as well. I actually do want to take the standoffs off of here because I'm going to use those in a few minutes for the new board. So we'll save those. I'll show you how I'm going to mount all this in the armor, or at least what the theory of mounting this in the armor is going to look like. Okay, pull that out, and one more. Okay, I got a lot of screws here, ready for us to install everything. That's all good. I'm worried I'm going to need these screws again. So I may actually have to pull those out, because if I remember last time, the screws that came off the other board did not fit this. Let me see if they fit here. I don't think they're going to. But what do I know? They do fit. All right. So I think we're good here. I think I can leave it, let it be. I'll pull that off. All right. 2 Jetsons down. But there can be only one. So there's our new board. We'll go ahead. We're going to put the standoffs on first, because then once everything is connected and put together, it'll be protected. So just hand tighten those at the moment. These are nylon standoffs instead of metal ones. It gives it a little bit more flexibility, and of course they're non-conductive, so I'm not grounding this to anything, so it doesn't matter whether they're brass or not. Last one. All right, there's the standoffs. Let's get all the nice hardware installed on the bottom. We got our M.2 drive. And we'll grab one of the screws that I figured out last time works. Okay. We're going to do the same with the Wi-Fi card. I might not be setting up Wi-Fi this evening. What I'm mainly interested in is just getting it done quickly, so I actually do have a Ethernet drop that I'm actually going to plug in so that I get the maximum throughput on this device. And I am slipping all over the place. I'm going to grab a different screwdriver. This one might work a little bit better for me. There we go. That one works a little bit better. Okay. So there's the drive and the Wi-Fi on the bottom. And now it sits nicely. Let's go ahead and grab our Jetson. And we're going to pop that in this way. And then we're going to slide that down. Okay. Go ahead and do the right thing and go ahead and install these screws. Not strictly necessary because it does have keys on the side, but we might as well. It's not going anywhere for the moment, that's for sure. Okay, and then we just need to properly seat this fan header. I think this goes right here. Question is, where does this go in the suit? Yeah, it's probably going in the chest cavity or in the back cavity. I haven't decided yet. I'm still working on the final fitting for that suit. I already have everything printed, but I have to determine how much cavity space I have on the front and the back. So I haven't quite finished figuring out where I'm going to place everything. But you'll see more of you'll see more of that in just a minute. I actually have a rough. I actually have a prototype of how I'm going to mount this into the armor, so you'll get to see that. All right, So there's the computer, ready to go for the most part, actually. Yep. Okay. All right, let me set aside some of the components here. And what we're going to be doing here in just a minute is we're going to actually have to connect this to my laptop, and I'm going to show you what's on my laptop screen. Go ahead and open that up. All right, let's switch over to the laptop. All right, so this is just like last time, same thing you saw last time that I was doing this. These are the installation instructions for this board. Okay, so you can see this is the Jetson carrier. It shows me how to start all this up. I'm actually going to go ahead, pull this over here. I like to do it the other way. Let's see, as long as I'm not in the way. Maybe this is better so I'm not in the way of the presentation. And here's my terminal where I'm going to run everything. I've already pulled down everything. So you don't have to wait for me to actually pull down the latest. I've already done a git pull to make sure I'm at the latest version. Alright, so at this point we're just going to call setup.sh just like it says so and hit enter. It's going to type in my password. I don't think anyone can see my password at this point. That's good. I probably didn't type it in right. Maybe I did. Maybe it's just taking its time. There it goes. So it's going to pull down the latest and greatest Jetson pack. It looks like it's R36 release 4.4. Pulling out almost 5 megs a second. I'm going to take a little sip here as we get going. Hey, everybody joining in. I see about 10 or 11 viewers right now. Thanks for joining. Again, we got the... you can show while this is downloading. Here's the desk camera. This is what we're going to be installing this on. This is the NVIDIA NX 16 gigabyte. This is the smallest, most powerful version that they sell. And that's what we're going to be installing this onto. It's going to get exciting, I'm telling you. By the time we're done, you're going to love what you see. You're going to love what I'm able to run on this thing. The latest version of my OASIS software that I've been working on for this. You're going to see it connected to the battery pack. I got some other surprises that you're not going to see till the end of the stream. Things that I haven't shown, I don't think, anybody at this point. So stick around. I've got some amazing things that I'm going to show you. It's going to take a little time. We got to get this one set up. It won't take too long. Don't forget to put a case on it. Absolutely. A little preview. I actually have designed this 3D case. A lot of airflow in here. It's going to have some protection on top. I actually don't have all of that with me, but I am going to show how this kind of mounts to this. This is just a prototype. This is just printed out of PLA. There is a case that goes on top to provide cooling. This is, I'm going to shorten it up a little bit. It's still kind of too tall, but this works for now. So yeah, I have kind of a case for this, but more on that in a bit. So back to the computer where it's still pulling everything down. It's going pretty good, almost 10 megs a second off of Wi Fi. Not bad at all. But it is downloading the latest and greatest. Hey Chris, good to see you. Thanks for joining the live stream. Appreciate it. Hey, if you're watching, please hit the like button. Let me know that you're actively watching. Hit the like button on the stream for me. Shows me you're watching, lets other people know that you're enjoying the stream. We're going to get this stream going. We've got a lot of cool stuff to show you. Again, this is the run to DragonCon. If you're not familiar with DragonCon, let's talk about that while... well, DragonCon doesn't want to show up, so let's go and do it right. www.dragoncon.org. Here it is. If you're not familiar with DragonCon, I got 23 days and 18 hours until this. There's going to be a lot of content right after DragonCon because I don't have time to edit all of this content while I'm filming it. So there's a lot that I've already filmed. I've already got 2 videos filmed. One on building a battery. one on, oh, what was the other one? Anyway, there's another video I've got ready to go also, so I'm going to have a lot of content coming out next month, starting next month, where I go over how I do all of this. I'm going to try to get some out, so please follow me on Instagram if you're not following me there. That's where I'm going to do the live content, or excuse me, the up-to-date content where I'm posting some photos and stuff. Anyway, got a lot going on, so I'm going to be doing some of these live streams, though. This is the quickest and easiest way for me to get some content out to you guys. I know I've been light on the content for a while now. Family has come first, and I've been coding a lot, sitting at the kitchen table when I had time, but not as much time actually actively making content. Anyway, if you're not familiar with DragonCon, it's coming up in the Atlanta, Georgia downtown area. We have like 4 or 5 hotels that it takes up, not to mention every other hotel surrounding it. I am a guest again this year at DragonCon. I don't know, do I show up here? Let's go Kersey. Did I not show up? How does that work? Professionals. I'm a professional is what I am, not a guest. Chris Kersey, Oasis Project cosplayer, 3D printing, Kersey Fabrications. So I will be a guest this year again at DragonCon. I'm actually not sharing this with you, am I? Huh, is this one it? There it is. That's what I was trying to show you a minute ago. I'm realizing you're not seeing everything I'm seeing. So anyway, yeah, here I am. I will be a guest this year at DragonCon. I'm doing 3 panels right now. I don't want to give too much details because everything's tentative this far out. But I will be doing 3 panels. One of them on this where I will be demoing and showing everything, how it works. You can ask me questions. I will give live demonstrations. So this is my little plug for DragonCon. If you are in the Atlanta area, August 28th through September 1st, I think the current schedule, and this may change, everything's subject to change. The current schedule is that I will be, I think, 1 panel on Friday and 2 on Sunday, something along those lines. So, anyway, there's me, back to this. We are now untarring the file, which is the equivalent of unzipping, if you're not familiar with that. So, there we go. Appreciate everyone dropping in. Again, thanks for doing this. We've got the files are being pulled down off the internet right now. It's installing the OS. That's the step we're on right now onto my Jetson board right here. I'm going to be hooking this up via a USB cable here in a minute to my main computer, which is what we're following along with here. It's going to take just a couple minutes. It downloaded a rather large file, which has the root file system. It has the kernel. This is all the things that we're going to be modifying to actually get this onto this board. This clearly not the exciting part unless you're a huge fan of watching someone hack on Linux. But hey, if you are, then you're at the right place, because that's what I'm going to be doing this evening. Again, culmination here was we're going to have all this put together. Like I said, assuming there's no hardware problems or anything, we're going to have all of this put together. I'm going to show off the HUD. We're going to show it with cameras, all that good stuff before the end of this stream. So, but we have to get through the downloads and the unzipping and all, because I do want to walk through this, show you that this is the whole process. But if you get tired of me talking, just let me know. I'll just turn up the music. I'm going to turn it up for myself here a little bit. Can you even hear the music? Let me know. Let me know if you can hear the music. I know I have it turned down quite a bit. I didn't want it to be distracting. Some people get upset when there's background music going. If you're kind of wondering what my panels are going to be on, I can go and talk to that a bit. my panels at DragonCon this year are going to be on AI Assistant panel. I'm going to be doing a building advanced cosplay armor panel, and then I have a panel that I'm doing with a bunch of other very talented people that we're going to be discussing some stuff about making. And again, that's all I'll say for now. But all right, thanks, Chris. I appreciate the comment there. All right, so now that everything has unzipped, it is going through the rest of the script where it's actually pulling other things down and unpacking things and preparing this whole package to actually go onto our Orin here. So pulling down the kernel headers, all of this is being extracted so that it can build the kernel and all of the various NVIDIA specific packages is what is pulling down right now. I think I mentioned in the last stream that most of this scripting, I believe, and you know, they can correct me if I'm wrong later, I think most of this scripting is from NVIDIA about how they install their packages. And then ARK, who makes the carrier board that I'm using, ARK is actually, they put their kernel patches and everything on top of this. Still extracting all of the sources here. Alright, now we're installing the boot Linux toolchain there. Alright, now we are ready to go with build kernel. So I will come back over here. We will just copy and paste that. Here's our build kernel. And let's build it. Alright, so PAB, they've got two different boards at ARK. There's the PAB and then there's the Just-A-Jetson, which is the JAJ. So we'll do two, because that's what we're building. So now it's going to build the kernel specifically for this board. This should go reasonably quick on this laptop. I am plugged in, so I should be in, let's see, am I in high performance mode? Let's find out. Nope, it's in balanced mode. Let's turn it on performance mode. Kick this up a notch. Oh yeah, now I hear it kicking. The fan's on. So this is definitely building a little bit faster now. Much better. I think there's a task manager on Linux, but I don't know if I've ever tried looking for it. Interesting. Power statistics. Interesting. All right, we'll just let it run. As I mentioned, I know this isn't the most exciting part of the build. We'll get more exciting once we get everything on there and get to see the hardware part of things, but we got to get through this first in order to get everything set up. When I go to edit this stream down for wider consumption, you know, kind of a compact thing. I'll probably skip all of this because I covered this Just-A-Jetson stuff in my last live stream. So we'll probably start after this, and just recommend you go watch all of that if you want to see how I do this part. But you know what? I'd rather be here doing this live rather than sitting here by myself. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, we're in building the kernel step. We'll add the Wi Fi and stuff in a bit. Yeah, we're going to add the Wi Fi after this. And then we will go straight to flashing it to the board. That part's actually relatively quick versus the compiling and everything. And then it gets interesting when we start installing some software. I follow along with some of my instructions. Might make some notes so that I can update any, might update the documentation if I need to update that. It's going pretty quick. This is just building all the drivers and all for this particular board. Yep, there we go. That's the last, that one right there is the actual Linux kernel. Putting all the symbol lists together, the built-in modules, all of that's compiled. There's VM Linux. Now it's going to go through and build the different driver modules for all the optional hardware that you can support on a Linux system. So that's all being built now. I encourage everyone to give this a shot. The reason I open source all of this software so other people can give it a shot, see if they can build it. So, Dear God 101, if you're thinking about doing it, go for it. That's why I'm doing the videos and releasing the software. Close to this being done. So as this one's done, we'll add the Wi-Fi. Guess while that's building, let's go ahead. Let me see if I can do this real quick. We got if you want to know more, let's go through this real quick while that's building, because that's not the most exciting thing in the world. So here's the ARK board. So this is the board we're installing. You can get it here. It's about a $680 board. It's got a lot of features. It's built primarily for drones, obviously. All sorts of compact systems can use this board. I love it because of all the tiny connectors that give you a lot of access here in a small amount of space. This is about one of the smallest carrier boards you can get and still have all of the functionality. Some block diagrams showing all the features that it has. And let me go ahead and show you the OASIS project. If you want to know more about this project, the oasisproject.net is available. Shows you the build of the first helmet, where to begin, how to support this project. All that good information is here. You can learn about all the components, Mirage, which is the heads-up display, Dawn, which is the AI assistant, Aura, which is the part of the system that goes into the helmet. Spark, which are the components like the repulsors or other things that might be running in the armor. I have a rundown of it. Most of this should still be accurate. I've done a lot of updating to this, but this is the communications protocol. It's how everything's talked to one another. How to install a local large language model onto the system. All that's in here. Let's see what we got. Some of the parts that are available that you can download from my website, things that I've designed. So the ARK reactor, a speaker that I designed so people could hear what I'm doing, a remote control that I built, as well as some small parts, and then there's the HUD itself that goes in the helmet. All that is downloadable here. Special thanks to some people that helped me out. Some of the software that I use, all of that is available here. And if you click up here in this little area up here in the upper right, this will take you to the GitHub page. From here, you can click right here and you can see all the repositories. These are all the different pieces of software that go and make up the OASIS project. All of that's available right here. All right. Let's see, we are still building kernel modules. Again, we talked about DragonCon, and that is counting down a ticker right here for me. Don't know what happened to the last 5 days, but here we are. All right. Switch over to the Jetson again. Still building. Alright, we're getting closer. Yep, almost done. I say that, I'm going to say almost done. I just hope I'm not lying to you that there's not more here than I remember there being. But I don't think there is. Alright, now we're installing. All the compiling is done. Now we're just installing all the components. All right, now we're ready to flash. Let's go ahead. I'm going to do my Wi-Fi credentials right here. Do that right here. I'm actually going to go away for a minute while I do that so that you can't see my Wi-Fi credentials. But I do want to go ahead and do it so I don't have to figure it out later. Do that. Okay, and we're going to clear that screen so that you don't see what I just typed in, and we'll go back over to it. All right. So we added, now we hook up the USB. Let's go ahead back to the desk camera. All right, so this should just work. We're going to connect the micro USB cable to the port adjacent to the mini HDMI. Power on the with the force recovery mode held. All right. So I'm gonna grab me a USB port. Standard USB on the PC to USB-C here. This should not power the board, I don't believe. I will double check that by typing LSUSB, and I should not see the NVIDIA Corp. Correct. All right. So I don't see the NVIDIA Corp right there yet. So that's what I was looking for. All right. But now we can power on the board. To do that, I have this USB-C to XT60 adapter. And I'm going to, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and while there's this little button over here, we're going to hold that down while plugging it in, and that should put it into recovery mode. Okay. I think that worked. That may not have worked just the way I wanted it to. Let's go and unplug it. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to make sure I'm holding that down. Okay, I think that worked. Fan is on full blast, so that sounds like it's working right. There it is. That's what we wanted. Oh, switching over. That's what we wanted to see here. Now we have this NVIDIA Core APX, just what it said here. So now we should be ready to flash. So we're going to grab that. I'm going to pull that here. And we're going to go ahead and go for it. All right. So that is now putting all the stuff that we just built. It's copying over to the board over USB-C. So it's putting the kernel on there, which is what you're looking at here. Yep, and now it's going to copy over some of the different images that it needs on the device. While that's installing, I want to check something out real quick. That's copying everything over. There's the root file system it's going to copy over. I think I forgot to push an update off that file system. Oh well. I'll have a little update to do. I changed something. I forgot to push that update. Oh well. You get to see a little bit of coding if I have to fix something that I forgot to send up to my repo. But that's okay. It wasn't major. Can you make Jarvis? What is that? Can you show me a demo? There will be a demo. So right now we're doing the installation. And then I'll show you a demo when we get everything installed. So yeah, we got a demo going. It'll come as soon as we get everything installed. I don't think it'll take too much longer. Can I make a Jarvis? Yeah, I've got Friday on mine, but same concept as Jarvis. I run a local LLM, or I can do a remote LLM. I don't know if I'll be showing that off tonight because there's a lot that has to be compiled to get my AI assistant going on this piece of hardware. So just depending on how fast it goes, but there's a lot to compile, and so I don't know if I'll get that far with the AI assistant. But we will get to the HUD software because that's the main part I need to show that's working. So we'll get there. So most of this installation is done now. Now it is just spooling up the secure shell, and it's making sure it can get into that secure shell. Doing some extra installation steps. All right. Zod is telling me here not to make Ultron, so I'll have to keep that in mind. Well, as long as I don't give Ultron access to the internet, we should be alright. So I'll have to just be careful what I give it access to. That was really Tony's problem. He got out onto the net and he was lost. All of the apps are installing now. It's looking good. Formatting the app partition. Hey, Adams. Everything's going great with the HUD. That's what I'm installing tonight. This is the actual piece of hardware that is going to go into my Iron Man armor right there. That is the new piece of hardware I just got from ARK Electronics, and it's got my Jetson on here, and so that's what I'm doing tonight. I am building it. Thanks for popping in. We're gonna get it going. All right, successfully flashed the external device. Looks like we're about done. I'm still seeing some activity. So we're gonna let it finish up here. I assume it's still working. Yep, still going. There it goes. Few more things to write. I probably did a reboot or something. All right, there we go. So the full flash log has been saved locally in case I need it for anything. And now I should be able to log into it remotely just to make sure that it worked correctly. Oh, it doesn't like that Jetson.local. It's probably up and running there. It's funny, it worked last time. That Jetson.local worked just like it was supposed to last time. Oh, I know why I can't get into it. I don't have the the Ethernet plugged into it. That'll do it every time. Alright, so let's get the Ethernet plugged into it. Got my Ethernet. And I didn't hook, and the other thing I didn't do, I didn't hook up my Wi-Fi antennas because they're kind of bulky. So that should get me, there's the green light. Now we're going. Now I bet you I can get into it. Let's find out. That'll do it. Alright, I do have to remove. Yep, let's remove that. And then we will try again. We say yes, we want to add that. And then the password by default on this is Jetson. Alright, so we are up and running. It means for all... at this point, we could just switch over straight to the Jetson, but I actually want to use this computer to get everything installed so I can just remotely, you know, just get into the system. So what I'll do here is I can go ahead and bring up my GitHub, OASIS project, repositories, and we're going to start with Mirage because that is, well, how do we want to do this? I need a couple of different projects. So I want to make a directory. This is actually on the Jetson. I am secure shelled into it. So I'm going to make a directory called code. I'm going to go to code. I'm going to make a directory called the OASIS project. And from there, I'm going to actually pull some of these repositories. So I'm going to need stat, which is my battery monitoring. So let's go ahead and we'll pull that down. This will work for now. I can change it later to my SSH, but I just want to show how this works. Oh. Get clone. Get used to just calling pull. Alright, there's stat. Stat's pretty small. And then from there, we want to pull down Mirage. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to get clone Mirage also. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Think about making carrier board. Yep. Ultron HUD. Let's see. Do I use Ubuntu as my everyday OS? Yes, I've got. Actually, I mean, to be honest, I have multiple computers, and so I've got a Windows computer. I've got 2 Ubuntu computers. So yeah, I've got multiple systems, but I'm a Linux developer, embedded developer by trade. So yeah. I definitely use it every day. So, sure do. Alright, so I have both of those. Let's start with getting stat up and running, because stat's kind of neat. Stat's what does all of my power management. Let's see. Just double checking my own installation scripts. Yeah, okay. Let's actually try my own installation scripts here. Run install.sh. CMake isn't on here. So first thing I want to do, let's go ahead and do that. So in the Mirage tree, I actually have a bunch of, like, you need to install all of this type stuff. Is that on Mirage or is that on, that's probably on Oasis project.net. And then if I go to Mirage, there we go. We're not going to do all the update and upgrade. I don't want to blow anything away, but I do know I'm going to need all of this good stuff. So we're going to start with that. That will install all of the various packages I should need to get going. Some of these are going to be different, apparently, than they were in an older version. So I'm going to, let's see, sample rate, where were those? Yeah, okay, so let's get rid of these for now. I can figure those out if I still need those. Sample rate, and what was the other one? Sound file I didn't need, apparently. There it is. Some of those have changed. So we'll come back to those later. Oh, do I need to do that? So I haven't, okay. I haven't even done an update to even have packages, it looks like, possibly, because, I don't know, let's just do an update, I suppose. Maybe this doesn't even come with all of, like, the defaults installed, so we'll start with that. Alright. So, maybe I'll try this again. Maybe all those packages are... Yeah, okay. Now everything's still available. I just hadn't pulled everything down. So, this is a lot of packages to get going, so... I guess I'll just let it go, and we'll pull everything down that it might possibly need. if I blow away a kernel or something, that's just the way it's going to be. We'll learn together. So this will pull down all the various packages I need to do development, all that good stuff. We won't go through every step here because not all of them are 100% necessary anymore. These are some of my older instructions, so not everything is needed. All right. Everything's unpacking. It's already pulled it all down. Like I said, I went ahead and did hardwired today because this makes it a lot faster. Once we get everything installed, compiled, yada yada yada, we will. I'll switch over to the actual system that we're developing on, and you'll get to see its user interface. Fear God's asking about every time you turn on your Jetson, it'd be nice if it automatically opened a program. Open the program until you press a certain key. You can set up some of that. Like Linux is you can automate pretty much anything if you know how. I understand figuring out how is the problem. But with AI and everything, I mean, you can ask AI questions and it'll kind of walk you through how to do that. You can set it up to auto log in. You can set it up to run a particular application on boot. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I do when I set up the heads-up display where I'm actually wearing it. I actually just have it run that as soon as the computer boots up. I don't have to type anything. It just comes straight up and the HUD comes up. That's all I have to do. Frank enters the chat. Rough cost. Oh man. I don't have a rough cost of the new setup. The original setup was probably close to about $2,000. That may be I don't know. That may be over or underestimating. This one's going to be a little bit more. I keep going higher and further on this setup. And so, you know, the Jetson, this board now that I'm using, let's switch over to the desk again. So this board that I'm using now is what I say, $600 and something. I think the NX16. Let's see, let me bring that up. NVIDIA Orin NX 16 gigabyte. Let's see, can I just find the module itself? I'm trying to see if anyone is just selling the module. These days it's hard to find some of these parts. That's a company selling just the carrier boards. I found someone on eBay selling one of the modules for $500, so you're at, you know, let's just say $1,100 for the board and the carrier, and then of course, you know, the display inside the helmet's probably another $300, so you're up to like $1,400, and then wires and custom electronics and all that good stuff. So it gets up there. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. Let's see where we're doing on that. Still installing packages. A lot of packages to install. Yeah, Jetsons are expensive. I wonder if they'd be cheaper to design if I had my own SBC manufactured. I mean, the carriers are expensive because they are custom, and these companies producing the carriers have to make back their R&D work on them. I mean, you can look at this ARK board. This ARK board is very customized. You can see here, like all of the custom headers on it. These are locking headers, so that like if they're on a drone, or again in my suit, which is why I chose this board, or one of the reasons I chose this board. These are locking headers. It means that you're not going to lose a cable. And, you know, there's a lot of very careful routing. I have to say, Anims, if you've got the skills to design a carrier board, more power to you. That's one of those things that I'm not currently trying to do. I would love to be able to do it one day. But there's some great companies building these carrier boards. They are expensive, but they're putting in the R&D and the testing and, you know, ordering all the boards and stuff so that I don't have to. Yes, Fear God. He says I might as well get the NVIDIA Jetson Orin Nano Super Developer Kit with the customized case. That's what I started with. So that is absolutely how you should start. That board will do almost everything you want it to do. The only thing you can't do is like run the HUD while running a large language model, while running an AI assistant. Like, it doesn't have enough memory. It's only an 8 GB module, but as far as a power is concerned, like, it does everything. It's a very powerful system out of the box. So that is absolutely how you should start. That is my recommendation, is to just start with that. All right, so it looks like we have everything installed here, at least to get going. All right, let's see if that's enough to get this compiling. So far, so good. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So stat is now installed on here. Should be able to run it and then see if it's running properly. Let's go ahead and type that. And again, this is an application I wrote specifically for Jetsons. It's to do system monitoring in the background. And then I should be able to do a status. And we see that it is running. Yep, everything came up. And then I can do a mosquito sub. Those mosquito tools are not all installed. Sudo apt install mosquito dash clients. Let's install that too. All right, and then we should be able to do something like mosquito sub dash T, I think, for topic. And it is, oh wait, is it OASIS stat? Or is it just stat? I forgot what I called it. There's stat. Okay, so you can see right there, I am getting all my battery statuses. Memory, CPU, fan, all of that is coming from stat. So this is code I wrote to basically just make all of this information available. So there's this background task that actually gets all of the statistics about all of these things, power and all, and that passes that on to my heads-up display so that I can separate these tasks and make things run really well independently. So that's what this is. So now you're looking at all the statistics, the system information that is now being broadcast onto Mosquito or MQTT. All right, so that's on there. Let's go ahead and bring up Mirage. Make directory build. CD build. We're then going to need to do a link to sound assets. We're going to need to link to UI assets. And we're going to need to link to the config.json. And then we're going to CMake. We're going to see if we're missing anything. I might still be missing some packages, but we're going to find out. All right, so I didn't do SDL2 graphics. That's something new that I'm needing. So sudo apt install. It's something like this, but with GFX in it instead. So let's go ahead and just grab that. All right, I think we just put GFX here. Yep, that's what we want. All right, we are now going to CMake again. Tell us if we're missing anything. OpenGL, so we do need those OpenGL packages. Let's see, which one is it? I always forget this. Glue, that's what it is. We need the glue libraries. So it's Ubuntu glue dev install. We'll just look it up real quick. And that right there. Yeah, let's try that. And then we CMake again. Now it looks like we have everything. And I should just be able to type make. And it's going to build Mirage, which is the heads-up display software that I wrote. Okay. Now we see if it works. What I need to do now is switch from the laptop to actually showing you the display on this device. So let me do that real quick. We'll switch here. Actually, we can just do the desk so you can see what I'm doing. I am actually just going to unplug these here. I don't need the USB cable going to this little board anymore. That was just for flashing. So we'll move that off to the side for the moment. We're about ready to see if the HUD works. I've just got to plug in some other things. So let's go ahead. Got my board here. I'm going to plug in the, actually have some helper stuff to make my life easier. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to leave the Ethernet alone. I've got this little right angle connector for my HDMI. And I have two right angle connectors for the USB ports. Here's one. And I've got another one here. Alright. And then I'm actually going to plug in this. I've got a USB hub right here. And this USB hub has my USB cameras as well as my mouse and keyboard. And so if I just plug that in, I get all of that hooked up at the same time. Alright. And screwdrivers and crap in my way. Let me move that out of the way. Alright. Go ahead and pull this off to the side. And then we can plug in the HDMI right here. Alright, let's see if we get a display. It's a little confused. I think I need to update some of this real quick. Let me fix this. I think I confused the heck out of let me do this. Yeah, it's a little confused here. Give me 1 second to update these settings. Yeah. Need to set it to that. I'm gonna unplug this and plug it back in. See if it syncs up. There we go. My monitor is really confused. I'm gonna turn off. Yeah, the monitor is really confused. Let me turn off and back on the monitor. Also, I will see what it thinks is going on here. We do display. Okay, that's all correct. Yeah, that's all we can do. Turn back on my monitor, see if it sorts everything out. There we go. Much better. Now I can see what I'm doing. We'll deal with that later. Modder's still a little confused, it seems. It's not confused to you, it's just confused on my desktop. So, that's what we're looking at. Let's see if this gets it. Boy, it really is confused on my desktop. Let's see what this looks like. What if we go down and then back up again? Okay, that confused it way worse. Give it a minute to come back. It should reset the settings. There we go. Alright, well, you know what? I'll just view it the same way you guys are viewing it. We'll just go with that. Okay, so I don't need to do Ubuntu Pro. No, we probably don't need to send system info. This is just new install stuff. I don't really need location services. I have something custom for that. Alright, let's just go with that. Again, I'm not really sure why my monitor is so confused on this one. The resolution, the hertz? What if I go to a different frequency? Does that make the monitor more happy? Maybe that's all it needed. Okay, that's better, much better. Okay, great. I fixed it. I'm gonna remind me later on the Ubuntu part. All right, so let's bring up a terminal so we can pick up where we left off. If we go ahead and go back to where we were. All right. Now we just need to see if it works. I'm going to pull this down here. I've got my cameras here. Make sure they're not shorting each other out because I've just got them laid out here on the desk. Two separate cameras. I got a left and a right because this does have stereo vision. But I just want to make sure they're set up properly, not screwing anything up. They might be upside down when you see them, but that's fine too. All right, let's do it. So we are going to, this is just a very basic run. I've got some other hardware here I'm going to be adding on in just a minute. So we're going to do Mirage. We can see what the options are. So we are just going to go ahead and do -C for camera type. It's going to be USB. We have number of cameras 2, and then we don't have the USB hooked up yet for the helmet stuff. So let's just see if this works. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. Heads up display working. It can't do the image download because I haven't put the key in here so that it can download from Google Maps. So that's why you don't see the mini map showing up. But this is running. I can go full screen on it so that it's even cooler. And so you can see all of the telemetry data like right up there above my head. Yeah. That's awesome. It's looking really good. Oh, that's just the top. Okay. You can see I have multiple screens here. These will populate once I have the helmet sensors populated. And then this is the battery information that it's getting. And you can see that right there. jumping around because actually we're plugged into the wall power and it's all confused as to why the wall power is doing what it's doing. But there we go. That is what, once I get the helmet plugged in, you'll see this populate. As you can see, we can switch. It has got all these cool animations. There we are. Anims asked, don't know if you ever mentioned in your chat before, but I found a really cool GPS module and it's super tiny. It's called the ATM module and it's compatible with lots of microcontrollers. I don't know that module specifically, but I will show you mine real quick. So switching over to the desk. This is my new board. So this one is a CO2 sensor, so I can measure the CO2 in the helmet. This is an environmental sensor, so that I can measure the quality of the air. This is my GPS module, which has a external antenna for greater just so that it can get better reception. And then I have this, which is a 9 DOF, an IMU. It's an inertial measurement unit. And that right there is what monitors the tilt and everything. And then I have this nice little display on the back, which allows me to do debugging. So I've got the GPS on here. This is all going inside of the helmet. Let's go ahead and take the next step here. I will go ahead and hook it up so that we can see if it's interacting correctly with Mirage. So, plugs in here. All right, I will just leave it right here, and you'll see it boot up. And then I guess I'll take it over to the USB hub, because that's probably where it will be plugged in the suit. All right, and you'll see this come on. There it is. And this is going to pop up so you can see the motion sensor is working. Then I can scroll through them. There's the GPS status. GPS is not going to work on here. I don't have the antenna plugged in, basically just because I didn't want to have to deal with it flopping around. Environmental sensors are still warming up, so these aren't going to be like super accurate at the moment. They take a minute. And then ESP Now, this is how I connect to other devices in the suit. And this monitors those connections. So there we go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it over like this. Jetson input. Let's go ahead and quit. And then it's in 40 watt mode. Nice. I know you can't see that because power mode. Oh, it's in super max mode. Well, thinks it is. Saying 40 watt. Whatever, that's fine. Acknowledge that warning, so it'll go away. Yep, we are good. Okay, now what I'm going to do this time, now that my USB device is hooked up, I'm going to pass the -U to it so that it'll try to talk to that USB device. Now that comes up. Is not talking to the USB port at the moment. Oh, you know why? Because I haven't given this user permission to talk to the USB port. So I'm going to have to do that. Let's see. I think it's like user mod. That's the easiest way to do it. It's like capital G. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if this will work. Sudo usermod -G. What's that called? That I need access to. Is it modem or comms? Let me see. Dial out is what it needs access to. sudo user mod -g file out, and then me. It was Jetson. Okay. I don't know if it's going to pick up these changes until I log back in. I know there's a command, I think, to make it pick it up. I'm going to try this real quick to see if it does. Actually, what I'll do real quick is just log back in. Just log out. Oh, you doing panel at DragonCon again? Yes, I am. How you doing, Donald? Good to see you. Yeah, I've got 3 panels this year, 2 solos and 1 group panel. Lots going on the maker track this year. The robotics and maker track is really cool. So there's a lot going on. But yeah, I've got 2 going. Let's see, why is that not working? I'm not trying to modify. Why am I don't need to modify the network. I just want to get in here. What is it doing? Okay, it's being weird. Very strange. Wonder. I didn't change the password. Cap locks. Don't seem to want to log me in. That is weird. Huh. I don't know what's going on there. Let's just do a complete system restart because I'm kind of confused. So I'm just doing a quick system reboot to see why it's not letting me log in. That is a new one for me. I've never seen it lock you out like that. Hey Frank, what are you asking about? The daughter baseboard? You're talking about the carrier board? The carrier board on this system is a it's having a problem. The carrier board on this system is the ARK Just-A-Jetson. ARK is the name of the company, ARK Electronics. Can I read what it's saying? TPM device provisioning service. All right. I don't know what it's doing. Could be confused because I have it going through this. Very well could be confused because I have it going through this HD60 capture device. That may be what's screwing me up here. So I might be getting rid of that capture device just for a minute so I can get it to actually come back up. I do not know what its problem is. Because it is not happy about it. I would switch. What's the easiest way for me to do this? Because I do need to figure out why it is screwing up. So while it's doing that, let me try this. Let me just grab that input and just take it straight to the monitor in case it is the capture device. Unplug that. Unplug this. Let's get the capture device out of the loop in case it is having a tough time starting X Windows. I can always restart it if I need to. That should be it. Where does that go? That goes to there still, yeah. I think that's it. I'm just going to do a big no-no and just hard reset it. I don't know what it's doing, and it's not displaying anything at the moment. Maybe I have the wrong cable hooked up. Let's just unplug for a minute. Figure out what the hell it's doing. Alright, where does this cable go? This cable goes to here. Yeah, that's the one I've got plugged in. I'm not crazy. I don't have anything hooked up that shouldn't be. I can unplug this one just in case. Alright, let's plug that back in for a second. Turn off my monitor? Oh, that's okay. Okay, it is very freaking confused. The fan just cut off and it cut back on. I'm showing no display, right? Display's flashing a little bit. Just going to give it a minute, I guess, because I keep seeing the display do something. But I'm not quite sure why it's so confused. This is new, like I said. New every day. Can't really show you the screen. I don't have a camera over there. If I have to, I can grab the laptop and see if I can remotely get it to the system and see if there's something confused. Let me grab the laptop. Let's try that. We did get it up and running, but now, unfortunately, it looks like it is no longer up and running. So, what did you get when you do live streams? I can get into it. Okay, so I can SSH into it. Let me see if it looks like Windows is actually running or if it's just... Yeah. Let me turn off the monitor and back on the monitor, see if it's... Maybe the monitor got confused and not the Jetson. Because it does, I'm seeing GDM session worker, which I think is the usual login. I may have just completely blown up my monitor somehow. Shouldn't be the case. But it's not doing anything. And I'm not actually getting the monitor cutting on. Let me unplug the monitor. You know, riveting content here, guys. That's what I'm here for. So hopefully you're enjoying the riveting content. Huh. What is going on with the monitor? Do I have it back on? I mean, right now I can't even get the monitor to acknowledge that I'm trying to do anything. Okay, I've got a blue light, red light. Okay. Monitor is on now, at least. Let's plug it in. I'm this close to needing to plug it into something else because I don't know what it's doing. Totally blew up the monitor. Let's do this. Let's actually, maybe I'll just plug it into the capture, because then at least the capture device would be up there, because the Jetson's up and running. I've got SSH access into it. That hasn't changed. But the monitor is really unhappy. So what if we took it just into the capture device, and I will see if that comes up. Ah, it's stuck there. That's why the monitor was flickering. Because whatever has happened, it is not happy. I see. Let me see if I can solve it remotely. Because that's not useful. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure you can watch what I'm doing when as I'm trying to fix this. I'm going to do some system updating in case something has gotten out of sync when I did that update, but not an upgrade. And it's possible some of our packages are out of sync now. So let me move this out of the way. There we go. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's not the sort of thing I can just give up on, so let's go and switch this back. Because you can't see that. Here, 1080, apply. Alright, let's fix it. Alright, so this is me logged back into the Jetson here. Sudo apt. We're going to do an apt update. Just to make sure we have the latest and greatest. Wow. Okay, so this is a problem. Something has happened to the permissions on this system where Jetson, the user, no longer can even act as super user. I do not know. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong. So what I did wrong, I bet you that stupid user mod command. I bet you that super user mod command, when you pass it a -G, capital G, you have to include all of the groups, not just new ones. I mean, that's stupid. Like, why? But that's what it's acting like. It's acting like I got removed from the groups that I was supposed to be a member of. So, like, if I type groups, I'm only in my own group and dial out, and that's what has happened. Can I do this, maybe? That's the only savior. I mean, I can log into, like, single user mode, but that's what I did wrong. Yeah, and and I can't get into it because the root user, as far as I know, doesn't even have a password on this stuff. So that user mod that I ran was the fatal mistake I did. Like I said, I might be able to get it to log into like single user mode. So let me do that. Otherwise, I'm going to be left reinstalling the whole thing. It happens. It happens. Usually not on a live stream, but it does happen. So this needs to go back into here. And then this needs to go back into the Jetson. And then let me pull this aside. That's going to do that, which is what you guys have come to see. Just flashy. I am going to just try to Control-Alt-Delete, which should reboot me. If I get lucky, I will be able to now I didn't get to it in time. Let's give it a minute. Monitor is going nuts now. I think I put it in some sort of debug mode. This might be the end of the stream, guys, because I'm not going to make you sit through me reinstalling that whole thing, even though I'm going to have to sit here and do it. That's frustrating. It happens. It happens. I'm okay with it. Okay, we're back to the Elgato just not liking this. So we're back to switching over and trying to just view it directly. See if I can get around this so that I don't have to start all over. This is development. This is what happens. All right, so now I've gotten into it. There's the boot manager. Again, can't show you everything at this very moment, so I might as well just do this. Just got to see what the right key to press is in a very limited amount of time. This thing keeps just ending up in a bad mode. The monitor is not liking the mode that it's ending up in. Yeah. All right. It is confused and it is halfway broke. The monitor is confused to hell for some reason. So what I need to do is probably just reinstall, take my hit for screwing that up, and move on with my life rather than sitting here just trying to fight it. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. You're welcome to stick around. Nothing's changing on this end. We just got to redo something. Again, that's what you get for doing it live. So I am going to undo some things here and then redo some things here. Let's go ahead and this goes to the input there. We're going to take this back over to the capture card. That goes to the monitor. Okay. And then we are going to pop back open the laptop. I'm going to grab that HDMI cable again and get you guys set up to go through this. I'm about to go grab a beverage because my throat gets sore while I do this. After I start the next, the re-upload of all of this. Where'd my laptop power go? Powering the laptop makes it better. There we go. Switch to the Jetson input, which is actually this. Which background? This one here. That background is one that I AI generated. This is my secret lair. You notice I have plenty of places to sit and work over here. And over on the other side, I got like a bar area, you know, so work and play. This is kind of just my hidden lair, but this was all AI generated. It's just something fun. Let's go ahead and back to this. Okay. And we're going to start this process over, just what we did last time. Hopefully it doesn't have to re-download and rebuild, and I don't think it's going to have to start everything over. I shouldn't need to do setup. I shouldn't need to build the kernel. I shouldn't need to add the Wi Fi. The only thing I should have to do is flash, actually. So this might be really quick, and we'll get going again. And I'll do this, like I said, while I run and grab me something to drink real quick. My coffee's about gone. I think I'd rather have something cold at this point. So let me grab that, just like we did last time. I'm going to grab that purple USB cable right here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was my goal with this background. It's fun. It's cool. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what I wanted, and this is what I came up with. All right, so now we're going to do what I did last time. I'm going to go back to this. All right, there's that. We are going to plug into this debug port. All right, we are going to take our power cable. We're going to hold down the button. We're going to plug it in while we're holding down the button. Full power fan, that's a good sign. Should be able to switch back over to this now. And yeah, let's go ahead and check the LS-USB to make sure it's hooked up. There's that NVIDIA Corp. And then I'm just going to rerun the flash. That should be the only thing I need to do, and it's just going to redo that. Okay. It's going to save us a lot of time not having to redo everything. I'm going to let this run, guys. I will be off the screen here for a bit while it goes. And I will be right back. And you know, it's funny. You were talking about this background, or this background. I generated this a while back, so this isn't even like the latest and greatest. This is Mid-Journey though, and Mid-Journey, mwah. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'm gonna leave this going. When I get back, I'm hoping most of this is done, and we'll be ready to go. See you in a minute. If anyone comes into the chat, just let them know I'll be right back. All right, everyone. I'm back. Thanks for sticking around. Although it looks like it's still going, so I didn't miss anything. All right. Tie my shoe now that I ran all the way downstairs. All right. It is formatting the app partition, so it's done with most of it. I remember where this was in the process last time. At least I think I do. And I learned something about user mod. So it's always good to learn something. I won't remove myself from the right groups next time. Appreciate everyone hanging out for the redo. We'll figure it out. Alright, successfully flashed the external device. I think there's one more like big run after this and then we'll be good to go. Sorry, just waiting for a minute. Not over talking you guys to death. Alright. Alright, we are done. It is rebooting. Awesome. We'll just make sure we'll do all the Jetson stuff here to get everything set back up, to make sure we don't kill anything in the process. We'll just go ahead and take care of this, and then when I log in to the system itself, we won't have the problems we did last time. We'll give this a minute to reboot. Should be able to go ahead and, well, it's still doing some reboot stuff. You can tell the fan's cutting on and off. I don't think USB will show anything, so let's go ahead and unplug the USB port. All right, we'll use that again when we go back to try the helmet sensors. Okay, so this is coming up. We should have, yep, okay. It's got new credentials because it had to reinstall. So we just do this real quick. Okay, try again. All right, yes, Jetson. Alright, so we're going to do this the other way. So I'm just going to edit the group file myself. And go ahead and, let's see, dial out. I will just add Jetson there myself. Now we won't have that problem again. We're going to go ahead and first things first, we're going to do a sudo apt update, which will download all of our packages. Okay, I'm going to do a sudo apt upgrade to see if we can find another way to break the system. Looking at that, it doesn't look too bad though, so we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm packing all those new packages. have a nice progress bar when we're doing this, so it's nice to be able to tell where we are in the process. And there's some good things. We're not going to install the ARK software because we're not making a drone or anything. Jetson clocks, which we can do, super mode. I actually have my own energy model that I use, so I'm not using the super mode. It can have problems. Okay, we can build kernel. It's got a lot of great information on here on how to set things up. Camera overlay. Good information on there. Alright, so what we're going to do, it's still... Okay, so everything should be updated now. If I go back to where we were with Mirage, we can go ahead and do all of this package installation, which will save us a huge headache if anything goes wrong next time. I remember we did those. I think I also added this one with graphics. And then I also added blue, which was this. I don't remember if there was anything else. If there is, we'll come to it when we get there. That should work good. So let's install all of that now. Again, the whole point of installing it all at this point is therefore when I do a system reboot, to make sure that it all comes back up, that if I've screwed anything up, we know as early as possible rather than waiting till I've already downloaded all my source and yada yada and then having to deal with that crap again. I don't want to have to put you through that another time. Much better this way. So what we're going to do, as soon as all of this gets done installing, I can go ahead and do a reboot. Make sure I can log into it remotely. It means that everything came back up. Make sure I can still sudo from Jetson. Make sure... I haven't done anything to screw that up at this point, but it'll just make sure that everything is in working order. I should be able to get to everything. And then we will just reinstall the OASIS software real quick. move forward. And I can show you all the cool stuff I wanted to show you that this wasn't, you know, meant to get in the way of. Lots of packages. Especially with all this CUDA stuff. This is all the NVIDIA specific stuff that makes things go fast. Lots of dev packages. I was talking earlier in the stream about how much are these Orin NX16 modules. It does look like you can get one for around 500, which is what I think I said before. 475 is about as good as you're going to do on eBay. I don't even know how hard they are to find, like from first-party distributors. Arrow probably has them if anyone does. So Arrow says they're out of stock right now, and they were $700 from them originally. So these that you can get off of eBay, as long as you're sure that you can get a warranty, or at least, you know, make sure they're not dead on arrival, then that may be one of the only ways you're getting them, because these are expensive. These are, like I said, about $700. These are beefy, capable processors. Seed Studio have them. Seed Studio carries them, but it doesn't appear that they have them in stock. I don't see. It's got product information, but I'm not seeing a way to order them. Maybe they're not selling them individually as easily anymore. I'll show you what I'm looking at while that's installing. So that one is that one here. But you can see, like, this is their edge computing board, but I'm not seeing like an add to cart or anything. And it's funny because they don't say that they're out of stock, but there's just not a, doesn't seem to be a way to add it anyway. I don't know what I just did there. There we go. eBay. eBay's the only way to go. Interesting. Oh, alright. Looks like I'm done. There we go. Alright, so everything's installed. Don't think there's any much left to do except sudo reboot on the Jetson. That'll log me out. It will reboot it, and I'll just make sure I can get back into it. Once I'm sure I can get back into it, then we can go from there. Hey David, thanks for contacting me. Appreciate that. Please say hey at DragonCon. I will be there presenting again. I think I've got one on Friday and 2 on Sunday. At least that's the tentative schedule. Otherwise, you can just reach me via email, Chris at KerseyFabrications.com. I try to respond to almost everybody that contacts me. Sphere of God, 12:16 a.m. over there. That's what it is here. I am Eastern time zone as well. So you and I are in the same boat. All right, let's see if we can get into this. We can. All right, it's all looking good. Let me log out. I'm going to close the laptop here. And we're going to switch over to the Jetson and hope everything is going our way this time. Look, every time I lose connection, I'm an Elgato ad. I'll make sure I send them a sponsorship bill. Because I bought all of these. Let's see if this works. Alright. Here goes nothing. Looky there. That looks like something. Again, my monitor's pissed off over here. I'm kind of getting tired of why the monitor doesn't like it. But let's try to... Hey, there we go. Alright. Close that out. We don't need any of the online accounts. We're skipping that too. No, we do not need to send my information canonical. No location services. I do that on my own. We don't need to do anything extra there. Last time I had to get it to do... let's see. Displays. That's right. I think I had to just change it to the next frequency down, and it made the monitor happy. Yep, that's it. Okay, so we keep it. We're running at high resolution here. Everybody is happy. We're back up and running, everybody. I'm just across town. I'll drop you a note. Best of luck. Appreciate it, David. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for contacting me. Let's get this going. I would love a freestyle machine, by the way, David. My family would thank you very much for the in-home freestyle. That's probably not good for anyone. I don't think anyone needs that kind of power at home. I know my kids don't. All right. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Let's get going with the terminal. Fantastic. Again, now that I've put up the laptop, it would have been really nice to go ahead and do the cloning and everything from the laptop. I'll do it in my lap real fast, because it only takes a second to do it. If I just do it, and we'll do the cloning real fast. I've got 3 in my home office. I bet you do if you're developing on them. I know how that is. I work for a company by day that I have plenty of their products sitting here in my office as well. So I know how that is. I know exactly what you're talking about. So that's cool. That's cool though. We just call it play testing, right? When you have to have the equipment in your office, and so you're just testing it. Yeah, I'm just gonna pull this up real quick. browser again. And then I will do, let's get it all back up to where we were for testing. Alright, so I think I installed all of that. I just need, let's go ahead and pull down the projects I needed. And we'll deal with that in a minute. I need stat, because that's what does all my cool system monitoring. Code, copy, make directory dash p code slash the OASIS project, cd code the OASIS project, git clone that directory, and then we go back and we grab Mirage as well. May go ahead and pull down Dawn too, just in case I go there tonight. And then we git clone Mirage. Okay, let me go ahead and grab Dawn. I don't think I'm going to get done with Dawn. Like I said, it's a pretty big compile. There's a lot of dependencies. But and then we git clone Dawn. All right. Should be everything I need. Aside, just leaving those terminals open for now, and then we'll see what we need to do. Code the OASIS project stat. Last time the install script worked really well, which I'm proud of. Yeah, that's really nice. It does all the creation and everything for you, and then we start it. And then last time, remember, I did a sudo apt install mosquito dash clients. That gave me the mosquito sub dash T for topic, and then I can look at stat, which should be outputting everything, and it is. So stat is working just as it should. And then I can enable OASIS stat, which will make it start every time. Fantastic. So stat's good, stat's happy. Hopefully, let me look at one thing real quick. I want to see what make sure the default is correct, which I think it is, but so the default should be this one. So that is the default. So that's going to be the battery that I'm using in the suit. It's this custom built battery that I worked on. All right, so let's see if this all works now. So stat is running. Now we should be able to go into Mirage. I don't have an install script for this one yet. I should make one just to make people's life easier. So I'm going to do a make directory build, cd build. And then we are going to, like I did last time, you have to actually create little symlinks in here to the sound assets, the UI assets, and the config file. And then we should be able to do cmake ... It may complain about something. If so, we'll install it, but it didn't. I remembered them all this time. So we have all of those. And now I should just be able to make, and it's just going to build. Now that we've got the build, let's see if it works. Mirage dash H will give us all the types, but anyway, it's dash C for USB, dash N for the count, which is 2, and we just see if it comes up. All right, it's coming up. And we've got live cameras. Well, I think I shorted out. These cameras short out really easily, these USB cameras I've got, but it's easy to fix them. For whatever reason, they short out, they come right back. So let's just do it again. That's what I get for touching them. There we go. All right, so now I'll move it around. You can see, yeah. Again, they short out pretty easily. They scare me in that way. But anyway, that's working. Let me go back. I'm going to go back to this. All right, so let's go back to looking at what's on my desk. We're going to go back to my custom board. I am going to get it powered on, and we're actually going to show you how it works in case you missed the last live stream. I will plug in that. I'll plug that in here. All right. I'm going to pull these USB cameras. I'm just moving them so they don't short out or something, or just disconnect for whatever reason. This should be coming up. There's the OASIS Aura, which is the name for the helmet stuff. It's working. All right, we're back up. This face is down, these face up. And let's bring that back up with a dash U. So that should, this time it'll connect to the USB. Would this work on a laptop with a 3066 gigabyte? I believe it would. Yeah, I think this would run on a, I don't think it'd have any problem running on a laptop. As long as it's, I don't even think I have the NVIDIA. Man, these freaking, let me unplug and plug back in my cameras because they are giving me a hard time. Just in case I did something to them that they're not happy with. This I haven't had a problem with before. But anyway, yeah, it should work on a laptop. And I don't even think it would have to be an NVIDIA laptop, but that might make it a little easier. So yeah, look forward to hearing if you try it. All right, so now there's that. All right, so you can see, do I have, man, that sync R. So let's just switch to using a single camera in case one of them is shorting it out. I don't know what's going on there. You know what could be going on? I could be actually running out of enough power on that USB hub. I don't have an external power supply hooked up into there. What if do I have screen plus desk? Is that one? Not that one. All right, I thought I had it. Anyway, pretty sure I did. Nope. Nope. Huh. I need to set one up for that. Anyway, so you can see it working. Let me go full screen on that. There you go. Look at that. So as I tilt it, real time, it's very, very responsive. Compass is super responsive on this unit. I love it. You can see as I tilt up and down. So all of that is working. Boom. That is that little piece of hardware. And then if you go to, like I was showing you this, so you can see I've got all of the environmental sensor, got average air quality here in my house, CO2 sensor, parts per million. It's got temperature in here, 29.1 degrees Celsius, because it is pretty warm in my office. Dew point, all that cool stuff. And then My battery, again, I'm plugged into the wall here, so it thinks I'm fully charged. It's getting 20 volts out of this USB, so it thinks, mwah, everything's going great for this battery. I've got 100% power. All right, so that is the main thing I wanted to get set up here. So all of this is working. We're good to go now. So let's do a couple of other fun things and get this set up. All right, so if you're here for the long haul, we're into new territory now. Obviously, it's kind of cool to be able to see this part work. You're also seeing my multiple HUDs, which was just, this was a breakthrough for me to get multiple HUDs. Like, this was a lot of work, particularly if you'll notice there's 3 transitions. There's a fade, a zoom, and there's a left and a right slide. This is just one of them, right? That's a left slide. But anyway, I'm really happy with those. But this is so responsive. I'm using an interrupt-based controller here. So basically, the IMU, the inertial measurement unit, signals to the board saying something's changed, something's changed. That's why it's so responsive. I'm not just polling it, but I'm actually getting interrupts to tell me when to change this data. And you just see it's like really, really responsive. I have Jarvis. Like I said, that's all on here. But let's get a little further here. So I will shut this down now. It says it's hot. It says not to touch it. I'm touching it. So what I want to do now, though, let's get some of this mounted and set up, and I will show you some of the other coolness. All right, so shut this down. I'm actually going to shut everything down for the moment. All right. All right. LEDs go off. It means everything's all right. Let's switch back to the desk camera. I'll just set this off to the side. So what I want to do now, I'm actually going to unhook a lot of this so I can get it mounted onto that board I was showing you. Because that's next up here. All right. So I've got this connector. All right, let's go ahead and do I'm going to mount everything onto here. So let me show you. I don't know if I've shown this to anyone. I've told some of my close friends, so they know that this is coming. But I haven't really told the internet. This is a modem. This is an LTE modem. It will ultimately completely untether the suit. So previous years, the suit's been tethered to my cell phone, which has been in my pocket. This right here is a LTE modem that will be hardwired to the Iron Man suit, to the helmet, and so will be completely unwired, untethered to anything. It means just like, this is cool because it means that the suit is now independent. And there's something else I'm going to do with this that I'm not sharing yet because it's too cool. It is related to this. And so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and get all of this installed. What I have here is there's this little right angle connector, or excuse me, it's a 180 degree connector that I use to go back to the thing, and then I have this custom wiring harness that I've created that hooks directly to one of the locking headers on the ARK carrier board, and it does have a SIM card, just like a normal. It does have a SIM card just like a normal cell phone, and I actually have some diversity antennas that will be mounted somewhere to give it really good cell coverage. I've already tested this. It has really good bandwidth. So let's go ahead. Let's get all this mounted on here. This is going to go this way. So let's go ahead and get that mounted. This one actually doesn't have to go on before the main board, but it actually makes things a lot easier. As you can tell, I've tested this a bit. I haven't tested it a lot. This is not, the integration on this modem is not completely done yet. I've got to write some custom software to integrate it fully. But the basic integration should be pretty turnkey and shouldn't actually require a lot. You think I need a better cooling system? I've got a better cooling system. I'll share it with you in a minute. I'm not going to actually get it all installed tonight because it's not complete yet. I've got some wires to make. But I actually do have a better cooling system. It should be a lot better. I can share it with you. Let's get the modem mounted. I want to see if I can get this working. Thanks for everyone for hanging out that's been around. Fear God, you've been here all night. Frank, appreciate it. David, if you're still here, I think you may have gone to bed. Appreciate you dropping in. Everyone that's been here, thanks for hanging out. So that's how that looks. We take the board. We're going to take this. It's going to plug into one of these USB headers. I think the middle one is fine. It's the one I usually use. Alright, so the USB header is right there. I'm going to take that and twist it around underneath the device. And I've got all of this set up, man. It's a little, I don't love. I don't love those wires. If I'm not careful, I will be remaking this cable because those wires will get a little too much strain on them. But one of the things I really like I've done here is it all kind of just sandwiches together really well. And there's room for everything. And those right angle connectors go right over the modem. Let's go ahead and get this attached. I know you're not seeing everything I'm doing, but at least you can see me and notice that I am doing something. Not just sitting over here off camera. But you'll get to see the fruits of the labors. Definitely need a good cooling system for this thing. This thing is warm, warm, warm. I'm hoping I won't be sweating to death inside this suit, but I won't know that until later. If so, hey, I've already started working on that solution too. Alright, so from the bottom you can see I left this open so I'd have easy access to the cards in case they needed to come up or in case I wanted to add my Wi Fi antennas back remotely. Here's what the top looks like. Again, modem going to the USB port. All right, these are just hanging out here for now. Eventually I can wrap them around. They've got sticky backs on them. These are the antennas. Okay, let's go ahead. Should be able to go ahead and plug these back in now. I am actually going to unplug this and I'll show you why in a minute. All right, we don't need that. Okay, we are going to plug into USB port. This is the old USB. We're not using that one. All right, let's do this one. All right, so here's my big beefy power switch. This will probably have to get cut down, shrunk for actually in the suit, but this is what I've got now. So I've got a nice right angle connector. All right. This is a nice switch. Hard, like if I need to do a hard cut off, pop that and the whole switch cuts off. It's really nice. All right, so I've shown some pictures of this, I know, somewhere or another. This is the battery. This is the large battery. I'm actually planning on making a smaller version of this. This is a 10 amp battery. that'll run the suit for over 4 hours. I'm going to make a 2-hour battery just out of weight concerns because this one's pretty heavy. This is over a pound. But it's a lot of juice. This has a lot of power. But let me show you what I do with this. Notice there's well, you can kind of see it. You can see it here. There's a wire hooked up to this. This is a battery management system. I'm going to be wearing this battery in the suit. I don't want it to catch fire. I don't want it to overheat. I don't want it to do bad things while I'm wearing it. So I've got a battery management system on here. This battery has a wonderful UART serial interface that I can talk to the battery management system and display it in the suit. That's part of STAT. STAT can talk to this BMS. It has a fuse in case there's too much current going through it. It has right here underneath this is a thermal fuse. So if it gets over 77 degrees Celsius, which is ridiculously hot, but if it were to get over 77 degrees Celsius, this would pop. It probably should be inside the battery, but there's other concerns, so it's up against it. Anyway, so that's my big beefy battery. I'm going to take this. This plug here goes directly into one of the UARTs, which I think the middle one is the UART I want to connect it to. Yeah, let's plug it here. Okay, so can you see it right there? Plugs directly into a UART. So now now the battery is talking directly to the system. I can charge the battery with this port here, and then this plugs directly into the system. All right, it's getting messy here. I've got a lot on this table, right? But anyway, you see what all's going on here. Anyway, let's cut it back on, and we're gonna see if we can talk to the modem. We're gonna see if we can talk to the battery. There we go. At least it came back up this time without giving me a hard time. Okay. Let's see what's working. Bring up that terminal again. Alright, first thing I'm going to do with this is actually see, I've got this wonderful little GUI utility that I wrote. Got this wonderful little GUI utility I wrote to actually talk to STAT, and we'll see if STAT is talking directly to the... Oh, I haven't got everything installed. Set up. Sudo apt install pip3. It's a Python app. I don't write many Python apps, but this made it easy. Python-pip3. It even told me. Python 3-pip. Maybe I'll learn to read. Let's get that installed. Setup. Yay! Setup worked. Alright, so stat monitor should come up and it should tell me if everything's talking. Alright, so here's the system tab. CPU usage, memory usage, fan speed, all that good stuff is here. It's got voltage inputs, CPU, GPU, the SOC, all that good information is in here. We have the INA 238, which is on the Jetson module itself. Shows me voltage, power, current, battery level, has a computing, and some of this is done internal. It says that according to this sensor, I have about 9 hours worth of battery because I'm not doing much with it right now. It's kind of sitting idle. It is talking to the BMS. So this is all the BMS gives you. Proper battery level. So this is directly from the battery. You'll notice it's a little different from here. 72.3 here, 71.6 here. It's close, but there's a slight difference. Voltage, power, current tells me it's discharging. Remaining number of milliamp hours. Cells, it gives me all of the cells. So the cells are in pairs of 2, and then it can look across them and tell, is it a balanced battery, which is a safe battery, and the temp running on these batteries. I've got 2 temperature sensors in that cell. So there we go. And then I also output this unified battery view, which is what Mirage, the heads-up display, actually looks at, because I have to have a way to show Mirage like a unified view of all this battery information, because it's too much just to look at. So that's working. It means we're talking to everything correctly. All right, that is good. So there's one little piece of code I lost when I reflashed this board. I'll have to fix it. So the battery, it's probably working still, but let's see. Let's go ahead to Mirage and we'll see what it can. Curious to see what it thinks the battery is doing. It's just reading it from a different place. Where's that reading it? That is from command processing.c. And then battery. And if I have this up. Okay, so the new one is called battery status. I think that's all I have to change. If I come in here and change this from battery to battery status, it will actually pull from that unified view. I should fix it. Okay. Mirage dash C USB dash. We'll see if we can get 2 working. And then dash U. Let's see what that gives us. Okay. See what we get. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Knows the helmet's connected, and the helmet temperature on that board is 29.5 degrees. Battery level is 71.1. It's got about 4 hours and a half remaining, which is what I said, but this is at 70%, so that's even better. And then you can see all the battery stats, voltage, current, power, temperature, and the type of battery, which is lithium ion. All of that is coming directly from that battery pack. So awesome. Everything is working. All right. And then that's still working too. All right. So next thing we do need to start working on is getting Dawn up and running. Dawn is my voice assistant, named after some family members. It also has an acronym, just like all the other systems. But ultimately, it's my Friday. She has a voice. She has a personality. It's pretty awesome. So we can start building that. But I'll tell you, like I said, Dawn is a lot of work to get up and running because of the number of packages that you have to get it properly installed. There's a lot of software that it's based on. So what I need to do there is probably go and switch back over to my laptop so that I can start the process. Don't think we'll sit here tonight and sit through it all together, but I can actually still show you where you can find the information about how I built my own AI assistant from scratch. And what makes it special to me is that I coded all of the rules about how it interacts with me, which makes it very unique, very responsive compared to some other AI assistants like that are just coded with simple Python. I really like how responsive mine is compared to some of the other ones I have used. Let me see if I can get you up and running here. Okay. So Dawn, we will move my Dawn over here. We'll bring up the terminal. We'll get back into the Jetson here. Oh, I'm actually not plugged into the Jetson. We didn't actually test the modem. I actually see if we can see it via USB. So, let me see. Can we see the modem? Did the USB cable work? This is the modem. This Qualcomm SimTech Incorporated. That's the modem. So the modem is connected via USB. Let me see. I have to check it out. There's a modem manager there, but the fact that it's connecting via USB at least means that all the hardware is working. I'll have to see if we can get it to come up via USB later. Anyway, Dawn. Back to that. So on the website, just like Mirage, I have a Dawn page. This one kind of walks through everything that's required to get this up and running. I will start the process. We'll see how it goes. But it's pretty involved. But once I think I'll probably get all the way down to the Onyx runtime, and the Onyx runtime is like this is probably not technically accurate, but just consider it like the AI backend of the whole process. It's how I think Piper uses it, so it's like the text-to-speech or the speech-to-text portion, which needs a bit of machine learning in order to do it properly, and that's probably where we're going to leave off. We'll go into my code directory. Let's make sure this one's installed. Again, these are old instructions, but for the most part, they're still accurate last time I tested it. We do need this SSL dev. Let's grab the latest CMake, because you actually have to have it. What CMake version am I running? .322. Which version did I want? 327. I don't know if 322 is good enough, so let's just go and do what I've done before and download it. 410. Wow, it's even getting higher up there. That's the release candidate. I don't really want a release candidate. I like the latest stable at least. There's a 331. Let's grab this 3 series just to not. Is that it? That looks like it. Just grab it down. There's CMake. There's tar, XVF, CMake. The CMake. And this. That'll make us run as fast as possible. And then we configure --system -curl. While that runs, I'm going to go and start pulling other things down. Grab this. It's running. You know what I did wrong? I didn't. No, it's still just configure. I thought I was already in the make section. No, we gotta let that run. I don't know if I need that CMake for this one, or if it'll do fine with the version of CMake I have on here. So we're gonna two birds, one stone this. That CMake build is just slow. It's really slow for no reason. Okay. Sudo make install. Speak. And there's, I think since I've done this, I have learned that there might be some ways around some of these where like they've got their own versions built in and I don't have to install my own, yada yada yada. But for now I'm still doing it this way. I forgot why it tells me that. I think I'm just missing a package. This will tell me real quick. This is probably what it is. Yep, that looks like it. It's still building? Yep, still going. Does it? Ah, it fixed it. I'm gonna put this somewhere where it can find it. We'll build it. I'll tell you, I mean, this was a lot of work figuring out how to build all these things because it's very time consuming getting all these packages built for this particular, like, I want it to work this way. Here's my dream. Here's my vision. So this is where we end up. Okay, that one's done. That CMake's still going. Thank you, CMake, for taking forever. We're going to bring down Onyx while we're waiting. Probably going to take a minute to clone. Yeah, this is a pretty big pull. It has a lot of submodules, you know, so I do this recursive here because it has get submodules, and so it has to pull all the submodules down too. Keep an eye on this while that's still going. Like 1.2 gigs already. Okay. So Onyx is downloaded. Now if they haven't changed anything, this should work. We do have to pick our correct version of CUDA, which is 12.6 now, right? And then this should all... Let's just hope this works. They do change things from time to time. See what we've done? Default behaviors, update build for test. Okay, so it doesn't like the ARM. That's funny. Wonder why I had just --ARM on there. If it, let me just turn it off, see if it can figure it out. Something else went wrong there. Let's find out what it is. Things break over time, which is why once you get a system running, wonder if it's still going. Okay. It does want this PSUtil. I guess I'll do that since it asked for it. I don't know if that's actually what it's complaining about. Yeah, it's complaining about the CMake. So we can't go any further until we get the CMake done. Great. Just gotta let CMake go. So that was the package I had installed the higher end version of CMake for. I guess while I'm waiting, I can do a quick research project on Onyx runtime CUDA build. I got CUDA 12. Okay. Build instructions. See this page. Okay. That's what I'm doing. Just passing those options in. Along with some other stuff. What else is here? Okay, so that's all. I've just got some extra stuff in there, so that doesn't look like a whole lot has changed. I'm not passing in like specific CUDA architectures because I'm just going to let it support them all. May not be optimal, but probably go a lot faster if I pick one. I wonder what this... See if this link tells me which is which. I never remember exactly which model this Jetson is. Notice it, I don't even think it lists Jetsons here. Oh, it does. So it's an 8.7. It's good to know. Very specific 8.7. So it's just like 87. Probably get build faster if I do that, just like that. I do this, but also pass it that, like that. Try that. I'm willing to save myself some build time. Still need this first. So that's what I'm going to do. It's getting late here. It's after 1 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead, get CMake built, start the Onyx runtime build, which will take potentially an hour or two. I don't remember exactly how long, but it was a long time. And so while that builds, I'm going to let you go. Not much to see here on the CMake. I'm not even actually going to worry about like showing you all of this. I appreciate everyone tuning in this evening. It's been a blast. I know we went through some stuff, and I appreciate everyone that has stuck around from the very beginning of this stream. I know it hasn't been a very active stream, but this is not the kind of like active stuff that people tune in for. I'm not exactly playing Minecraft here. But I hope you've enjoyed what I've been able to show you. I would like to do possibly another stream tomorrow night. So if you're around, if you want to, possibly, I'm not promising anything, but if I can and if everything's working, then I will show up tomorrow night and I will show you my AI assistant, show you how she works, and we'll go through all of that. So I'm going to cut it off here. It's late. It's after 1. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, it's been a good evening, showing you how this stuff doesn't exactly go smoothly all the time. Everything doesn't go to plan, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy this kind of work, and I hope you've enjoyed following along. I will show you more. Hopefully, if you can tune in tomorrow night, hopefully I can do this again. I did this tonight because it's been raining here, and I can't paint an Iron Man suit in the rain. I don't want to ruin it with the humidity levels we have here in the Southeast. So anyway, thanks again. If I don't see you between now and then, I hope to see you at Dragon Con. Join me there. I'll have a couple of panels. Follow me on socials, particularly Instagram. I'll be posting when and where you can find me there. Again, have a good evening. Take care of one another. Keep making, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.